Pradesh, pleasure to meet you. Um, we'll just dive straight in. So if you could introduce yourself, tell us what you do, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, sure thing. Likewise, Sam, nice to connect as well. So essentially, right now, major business is we are buyers. So we buy petroleum products. We are the end buyers, and we supply to a lot of majors and also end burners. We have a lot of contracts with these people, and this is basically just 10 years of building this clientele group. We've been trading for 10 years, started off as brokers, and then eventually built up to a point where we can just start buying our own fuel. We started from small to larger quantities, and now we do major trades. Um, Essentially, I'm also an investor, and we're also in tech. So I also have a tech company, but well, I have a whole team that's already running that sector. But I think fuel is something that just you need full focus on all the time.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I'm usually in the ports a lot as well. And because we've been buying and trading for the past 10 years, we just launched a consulting arm as well. But the consulting arm is only focused on preventing fraud. So we only do document verification,
Okay.
and that's about it. Yeah. So some clients that are on our consulting arm, when they get a good, they get a good seller that they're already working with, if we see that they can perform, we then also sell to them because we have the capability to sell. But otherwise, if any new buyer or any other exit comes to us, we usually don't take anyone on. We already have people that we sell to, and we're just always looking to buy more fuel.
I think
So yeah,
that's. I think that's. I think the same can be said for refineries. They already have the people that they sell to. So when you see thousands of these brokers on LinkedIn claiming to have something at port or directly through a mandate of a refinery, it does make you wonder how many people can a refinery sell to other than
well,
their
yeah,
own
yes.
existing clients?
Yeah, no, true. Yeah. So that's the thing, right? Like, you see, sometimes when you ask them, you see, if you dive in and you ask questions to this, I would say so-called mandates, right? You ask them like, how much can the refinery export out, and all these kind of questions. They will throw in a number, and then you check the number, and you realize like the whole nation doesn't even export that amount, and you have one single refinery that you never heard of that is,
Yeah.
exporting more than that, right? Um, and then you realize like things are just fishy, it doesn't work. But that's just what we do essentially. Like that's what the company is, like the consulting arm is for, right? We're very straightforward. We just tell people, hey, these procedures don't make sense.
Mhm.
um these documents don't make sense. Like we're just very straightforward. And
So
I
when
don't know,
so
I
when
think
you so when sorry when you say that you're verifying documents, you mean bill of ladings? Is it proof of products? What kind of documents do you verify?
any proof of product documents that you have on hand, you can send it to us. Because of our network within the ports as well, we can get people in the ports to just verify these documents for us.
Okay.
Yeah, so they check, right? I send them a TSR, they put it into the system, or we have people already in the port because of who our current clients are. We have all this network, so they just come and tell us this tank farm don't exist. Like recently, I think 2 weeks ago, we were working on a deal, and the first of all, the numbers don't make sense. It was supposed to be 200,000 metric tons, but in the TSR it stated 214,000, but in the injection report it was like 183,000 something. It was like
Yeah,
three
so the
four different
numbers
numbers,
don't
right?
match. Yeah.
Yeah. And then so what I did was we just got our guys in the port. We said, hey, these are the tank farm numbers. Can you check? Just check and let us know what's there. Then they came back and said it's ethanol. And then they said, send me a document, send them the document. They go through and they said, even the specs for the tank is not the specs that hold diesel. It holds ethanol. So it's not diesel at all. This was
Yeah.
just like 2 weeks ago.
So that could be, is that a common scam that you come across? People, mis-selling the product as something else, like ethanol, for example.
No. So what they tend to do, I think that the most common scam is that they try to push documents that don't exist. What most people don't know is that usually an SJS report is 8 to 10 pages long,
Yeah.
right? But when a seller or a mandate or whoever
You get
sends you
one
an SJS
page.
report, yeah, it's one page, and you can't even verify that. If you send it to
No.
SJS themselves, they just tell you it's not an original document, you can't verify. So I think
Hmm.
that's like the most common scam that you see out there.
Yeah, I've had a few dodgy, a few fake SGSs in my time. But like you said, you can just contact SGS directly and they'll tell you if it's a real report or not just by the serial numbers. But then they get changed as well. Because people are always trying to get people to pay deposits with SGS. But again, the the buyer should always arrange the SGS themselves. That's one way to get around that.
Yeah. There's another thing that people, or like I would say fixed sellers try to do is they tell you that, so they'll send you an SGS like a form. And they'll say
Yeah.
you have to fill this up, and we as a seller will submit it to you. I mean to the SGS office.
Hmm.
And if I say no, I'll do it myself, then they say, oh, it doesn't work that way because we need to fill up our logistics information and all these kind of things.
Yeah. Red
So what
flag.
happens is when you fill up the document, they do send it to SGS at times, right? But they bill it to you. Next thing you know, you're getting an invoice in your email for $50,000 for an SGS report. You
Yeah.
don't even know why, right? So it
Yeah.
happened. It happened 2-3 months ago in Singapore,
Oh,
Jerome. Yeah, I think because of that issue, and they had to do like multiple extensions. I don't know what was going on. I was not part of it, but it was
okay.
a friend. Something happened, and then from $50,000 loss, it went to like $3 million, and I don't know. Yeah, it was crazy.
There's just no limits to these scammers. They will try absolutely everything. Um, so let me ask. How would you describe the current landscape of the global fuel trade right now?
Um, it is filled. Well, I used to say 99% of the fuel of the trading market in the world is scams
Yeah.
essentially. But I've changed it from 99 to 99.99
That's
because
just on
I think it's
LinkedIn.
yeah, it's getting worse.
It
Before
really is.
COVID, it was better. Before COVID, it was better.
Yeah.
You fly, you test fuel, and then you just make the purchase, right? Which is why you see a lot of people nowadays try to push a dip and pay procedure. Like we don't want anything else. We want to come down, we want to test, and then we pay. It used to work that way, I would say, probably before COVID, but not anymore since there's so much documents being pushed nowadays.
Yeah,
Um,
and that's what
yeah.
they're doing. They're just pushing documents, and they don't even know what half of it means.
Yes, and if you ask them back, they get upset with you. If,
Yeah.
I, if you ask them questions, right, about why
Who
is
are
it this
you to
document?
question me?
Yes, it happens all the time.
I know
They
it
send you
does.
a procedure, right? And it's a
Yeah.
tank to tank procedure, but the pop documents are from the vessel. So
Yeah.
how does that work? If the fuel is in tank, why am I looking at the vessel documents anymore?
Yeah, but like I said, if you ask them, well, that's the procedure. You either follow it or you don't follow it. Like,
Yes. And this
no.
whole non-negotiable thing all the time, I don't understand how that works also. I
Ah,
don't know
listen,
why.
I don't. I mean, look, I've been involved with agricultural products now for almost 8 years.
Yeah.
Okay, and it happens there as well. Oh, it's the buyer's procedure that we must follow. No, it's a seller's market. Always has been.
But for agri I mean, I don't know much about agri, but just speaking to my partner, right? Like agri in Africa, they have very strict, like, quality checks and everything,
They
right?
do.
Yeah, because I think my partner trades cocoa. I think
Okay,
they trade cocoa beans and stuff.
good
But he
business.
said like it's difficult. He had to go on like a 3 week excursion-ish kind of thing into
Okay.
the jungle, deep into the jungle with a truck that they don't know what was going to happen, just to go and see the plantation.
Yeah.
But they said like apparently at the export, like the section, like they're very, very nitpicky, right? They see like make sure the quality is up to par and all this kind of things. You don't see that in fuel though.
No,
Not
no,
at
that's
all.
right. So, what sort of regulations and procedures are there that you've experienced that are common between, every refinery that you deal with?
So refineries don't ask for POF. They don't care, to be honest, whether you have the money or not, right? They
Mhm.
only care about logistics. So if someone comes and say, and this is like I would say 99% true, if someone comes and say that I can connect you to a refinery direct, but you need to send POF first, most of the time it's because they want you to send it to them
Yeah, of
as a
course.
broker so that they can have a look, which is a problem because they will say do an MT 199 or 799. It's
Hmm.
just bank to bank, bank
Yeah, of
Swift,
course.
all
Yeah.
these kind of things. But The problem is once they get that message, they can just go around and tell people, hey, I have a buyer. This is a Swift message, bank to bank. They have money, they have funds, and then they start fishing around. Also, it's a
Yeah.
problem. So for me, it's like I will never send POF. People hate me for it, to be honest. Like they don't like me at all because I don't do endorsements
Yeah.
from tank farms because I don't see the purpose as well. Why do you need all my tank details before anything? I don't do POF unless you're upfront and you tell us I don't own the product, I'm reselling the product. Well, I wouldn't even call it reselling, right? I'm flipping the product. They just upfront and say I'm flipping
Hmm.
the product. I don't have control, so I just want to know that if you have the financial capability, then I can at least save some face when I'm trying to get it for you. Then we can come to a discussion. But
Yeah.
if they say no, we need POF for this, we need endorsements for that, I usually just dip and run.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
From your experience, what would you say the most common scams or fraudulent tactics that you've seen circulated in the fuel market today? Like, what do you see mostly that you just think, oh, another one, you just instantly know?
Oh, okay. So from procedures we can see. So we'll go to documents later, right? But just from the procedures, if they say that there's a lot of times they say, oh, seller will pay 3 days for your tank farm, and then you pay 2 days after they pay 3 days. So you have a 5 day TSR, then you get full pop.
Hmm.
So it's why not you just pay 5 days? That's the
Yeah.
first thing. And the second thing is like the seller doesn't know you, right? The refinery or whoever,
Yeah.
it doesn't know you. Why would they pay a TSR under your name? Because it needs to be under your name. All 5 days has to be under your name. So they don't know you as a buyer. Why would they make the payment when you can just take the 3 days TSR under your name and just dip after that?
Yeah.
So that's BS as well. It always circulates that way. If you get into that trap, what they will do is they'll say, "Oh, we've already made the payment, but it's processing. We can't share those like the sensitive telex documents, whatever, the Swift. You have to make payment first so that we can tally the timelines. And then when you make the payment, nothing happens. Or they say we've done some due diligence on your tank farm. It's fake. Um, you need to use a tank farm that we recommend. Then you go down another rabbit hole over there, right?
Yeah.
So that's super common. The newest one is in Himria, where they have kerosene. It's been circulating since last year, August, I think.
Okay. And it's
Yeah.
still doing the rounds.
Yeah, they're still doing the rounds, right? They have kerosene there. The funny
Okay.
thing is, it's actually kerosene
Hmm.
there, but the specs are for A1. But the thing
Oh,
is, you can't buy it because you can't. I mean, we don't drink oil, right? You have to sell it,
yeah.
and if you buy it, you can't sell it because in SGS the report, it is labeled as pure kerosene.
Oh,
Although the specs is for A1, but you just cannot sell it to any regulated company
yeah, of course,
that
yeah.
uses it as jet fuel.
Well,
Yeah. So,
they'd have to be specially licensed or regulated or something, wouldn't
I mean, only the US, right? In the US, they only use Jet A.
they? Yeah.
Anywhere outside of the US is Jet A1. But the thing is, SGS must label it as like they must declare that it is A1 or A or JP54, whatever, right? If they
Okay.
label it as kerosene, whatever the specs show inside, we just can't sell it at all. You can't even
Right.
use it actually. So even if I own an aviation company and I buy it,
You can't even
if I
use it.
use it, yeah, you can't. I mean, the specs work, you use it, the plane flies, no problem.
Hmm.
But if you get like, any kind of independent company coming in to do an audit and then to check like, all the specifications for safety protocols, if they find out that it's not declared A1, you get sued. Or I mean shut down. I don't know. I don't know what the consequences are,
Yeah,
but
well, it's dangerous.
it's super dangerous. Yeah.
Lord. I mean, because I see on LinkedIn, I get a lot of offers for EN 590. Apparently there's so many metric tons at Fajiraya or Rotterdam. I mean,
Yeah.
have you actually encountered any products at these ports?
Yes. So okay, so for us, we only lift from Houston and Rotterdam.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, but the thing is, it's actually possible to get large quantities for EN590 because there's so much circulating in the market. Almost everyone is a reseller compared to a refinery. So like you have Russian fuel
Hmm.
that is repackaged as Kazakh fuel. and then they
Yeah,
sell it to
I
you, right?
saw that.
Yes, it's correct. So it's fine. I mean, it's not fine, but it's fine.
Yeah.
Um, they do the documentation well, and it's over circulating in the market, so that's okay. The real funny one is D6 because D6 is the leftover, like a residual fuel from EN 590, all
Oh,
the
okay,
sludge in the
I didn't
bottom.
know that.
Yeah. So it's essentially if you have 100,000 metric tons, you get like this much, like compared to the 100,000 metric tons of EN 590,
Oh,
it's
right, okay.
sludge at the bottom. Then they do a little bit of tweaking, a little bit of refining just to clean it
Yeah.
up because usually it's mixed with sand and all these kind of things, right? So they clean it up a little bit and then they sell it. It's considered feedstock.
Oh,
In
okay.
Russia, the term is mazut. I think. Not sure. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's considered feedstock, and you get it's very 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 difficult to get the quantities, and then they come and tell you that they have 800 million gallons, which is I think 5 to 600,000 metric tons, and they can do that per month. So we always question, we're like, where are you getting all of this from? No matter how much EN 590 you are refining, even if
Yeah.
you are a refinery, where
Oh,
are
we've
you
got
getting all of
billions
that?
of metric tons of EM 590
Right, it's crazy,
per
crazy.
month.
Yeah, it's crazy, so hard to get.
Yeah, I do all
But
my
yeah,
business on
all
LinkedIn. Um, so I mean, for example, like when people do watch this video, you are probably going to get a few people contacting you wanting to work with you.
yeah.
I mean, what's your procedure in working with new people? How do you onboard people?
So I only work two ways. I only buy and I only consult. When I consult a company that is a buying company, let's say another buying company, right? I
Hmm.
consult them, we do document verification and so on. We do not sell to them at all because, well, we don't trust them is the first thing. Second thing is we already do have a reputation in the market that, we're very straightforward and honest and integral. Um, we consult them, we verify their documents, all of those kind of things, all the good things. When they do bring us a seller that they can work with procedure wise and so on, we verify documents, it's all good. Once they purchase from that seller, then we know that these guys can perform. We bring them to our trading arm, then we sell to them direct as title holders because we buy fuel also.
Yeah,
Um, but if people do come and say, "Hey, Paresh, I want to buy from you," it's an immediate no. We never take on new clients for that we sell to. Only the current clients, and all of our current clients, the large ones that we have, also took us on as consulting clients first. So we only work that way. You can
yeah,
sell to me, but I will never sell to you until we consult.
okay.
Yeah.
And do you do that face to face?
Yeah, we'll do it this way. Some of them don't want to do it this way because it's document verification, right? We have a few different tiers, so we can do one-off verifications whereby we give them a fee. They say, okay, all good. They send me a bunch of documents. We give them a full report. They can tell us how detailed they want it to be. Some of them have no time. They say, we don't care how detailed it is. Just tell me if it's a yes or no. And we have some clients that say, hey, can you get us like, with all the numbers, breakdowns and everything, like super forensics kind of document. We want like a 60-page document, for example. Yeah, we'll prepare that as well. We have a team that
Yeah.
does all these kind of things and can send
Okay.
it over. Yeah.
I mean, regarding the documents again, I mean, especially the fake documents. Um, I mean, are scammers getting better at faking the authenticity of them? I mean, is it getting harder for
Mhm.
you to verify them?
Not really, no.
No?
So,
Okay,
not really.
there you go.
No.
Next question. But no, go on.
um, So document verification to a degree, yes, like it does get tougher. They are starting to be more detail oriented with the numbers. So they can send you 4, 5, 6 different documents for POP, and they are starting to match the numbers, better, and all this kind of things. But sometimes they tend to miss stuff like the density with the outflow ratios and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
But most of the time, we always pick things up because even if we are stuck with the documents, like we are, I would say usually 70, 80, 90% sure that it's fake, but that 10% is something we need to clarify. Then we get someone to head down to the port that is already in the port working there to just check in the system and make sure that that specific tank that they gave us is actually the tank that holds the product. So what we cannot do is we cannot check the quantity in the tank, but we can check the product in the tank,
Hmm.
and
Okay.
then we will move from there. Yeah.
I
So
mean,
if they
how
say
long
it's
how
eight,
long does sorry, go on.
no, no, go ahead, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, how long does it take for you to currently perform the due diligence and verify documents?
We can do everything in one day.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, we can sort things out in one day. But we do have a lot of clients, and most of the majors or end burners, they have a lot of people trying to sell to them all the time. So on a weekly basis, they're sending me and my team like 15, 20 documents per company.
Okay.
And we have like 10, 12 companies on board right now. So it's like 100 plus documents that we have to verify weekly,
Hmm.
which is a lot.
Yeah.
So it can take 2 to 3 days sometimes for a client. But if they say, hey, I need something quick, I need something in 24 hours because the SGS is getting older. We don't want the SGS to be, more than 72 hours. Can you do it fast?
Hmm.
Yeah, then we'll work something out and we'll try to push them and give them priority.
Okay, good. Do you think too many brokers rely on middlemen chains, like instead of direct relationships? Um, I mean, how does that fuel scams, or in how does that insecure? I mean, pun intended there. Um, how does that work?
Um, There are a lot of brokers nowadays, but the thing is, a lot of people think I hate brokers. I don't. I used to be a broker myself before, right? So yeah, I don't hate brokers. The thing
No,
is,
so you know
I,
how hard it is.
I
It's not
yes,
an easy
it's
job.
probably, yeah, it's
Anyone
not
watching
easy.
this, I want to make it very clear, it's not an easy job.
It's not easy at all. But the thing that annoys me, because you see, if I don't know if you've seen my LinkedIn post, right? But I'm always shooting brokers down. So people
Yeah,
always
no,
come to
I've
me.
I have been
Yeah.
I've been looking at your posts.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't hate brokers. I, I don't like the way that they do things
Hmm.
because I feel like if you want to broker a deal, if you're working for a fund company, right, an investment firm, for example, when you broker those deals, right, when you go and find companies that you can invest in and so on as an investment firm, you take it seriously, you do it well.
Hmm.
You do research on the companies, you make sure that the everything matches for you to invest.
Before you jump into your next deal, I want you to ask yourself, do you really know who you're trading with? Because one fake company can cost you everything. That's exactly why I built Red Flags AI. Every week, brokers and buyers are approached by fake suppliers, cloned websites, and dissolved companies that are pretending to trade. Manual checks can take hours, and even then, you're left still guessing. With Red Flags AI, you can verify any company in over 35 countries using just their ISO code and VAT number. Users can expect to generate a report in minutes, as our AI generates a full due diligence report showing verified registry data, address confirmation, IP and DNS checks, and clear green and red flag indicators, ready to download in PDF format. We are expanding very fast. In the coming weeks, Red Flags AI will cover over 140 plus countries. So no matter where your next deal is, you'll know exactly who you're dealing with. Visit redflagsai.com to see it in action for yourself. Red Flags AI. Due diligence, automated, fast. Use the code REDFLAG5 for your discount.
For you to invest, you speak to the people, all this kind of stuff. But the brokers for oil and gas, they don't do that, right? They just, whatever documents they get from whoever the seller is, you don't even know if they're verified. They're telling you that they can supply, over 5 million metric tons of EN 590 monthly, which is crazy. And when you ask them, like, hey, what can I do to find things out, or who do I send the documents to? They send you a Gmail account. Why can't you spend $20
I've,
to,
I don't know if you've
set
seen
up an
my
email?
post, but for years I've been telling people stop using free emails.
Yeah.
Register a business, get a business account, and get an email with a website. You
Yes, exactly.
elevate your legitimacy so much more.
Correct, correct, correct.
People take you
And
seriously.
yeah, and people take you seriously. And the thing is, it's like you can then cut off the noise a little bit more as well. Because what happens is people will try to imitate, let's say if you're a scammer, right? You will try to imitate a legitimate company by putting the company's name in the front at gmail.com.
Yeah,
So if you know that that company already has a proper corporate email, and you can find them on a website, you only speak to that email, right? You don't want to be having the conversation leading to a Gmail account, even though that the company's name is in the front and all those kind of things.
exactly.
So I always tell brokers that do more research about the market. Like you don't need to know, which country is doing what now, all this kind of stuff, but you need to understand and ask a lot of questions. And if the seller or the mandate cannot answer you, then something is not right because you don't get a mandate ship for not knowing anything, right? You have to
Yeah,
be
of
part
course.
of the industry. Yeah. And at the same time, ChatGPT is always open. You can type anything in ChatGPT and learn from
Yeah,
there, right? Why is the TSR like this? Is there a risk if I get the seller to pay 3 days of a tank farm, or is there a risk if I pay 3 days tank farm, TSR to a seller company, for example? Like all kinds of things come out, right? Then you can learn from there and slowly grow your brand.
exactly. You
Some
have to
people
know
don't.
you. You have to know your product.
Yeah, yeah. And if they don't know the technical side because they're new into brokerage, like it's fine, but things have to make sense at the end of the day. And
Of
most of the
course.
time, yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, what role do government regulations or verification systems like, I don't know, GACC, SGS, or refinery portals play in protecting traders like yourself or investors? Or, where do they fall short?
Um, See, the thing is, real refineries, they don't respond to you all the time.
I've tried.
So
I
you
did.
have to
I
go.
made a mini series on YouTube. It's just 4 episodes, just trying my hand at fuel. Like I said, I'm not involved in fuel at all.
Yeah,
But as someone new to that business, I thought, let's try. And I contacted refineries, zero back.
yeah, exactly. So you have to figure out who the actual mandates are.
Mhm.
And the thing is, you ask them, the more questions you ask, the more they slip up. And if they don't slip up, then you know that they know their stuff,
Okay, let me
right?
ask you this: what 3 questions could someone use to ensure that they're dealing with the right person, or can they use to make sure that they're dealing with, they're not dealing with the right person, if that makes sense?
Yeah, okay. So I usually ask them contact information. I say I'll put you in the chain of I guess communication, right? But every single email that we do here forth has to be included with the refinery salesperson or whoever, right?
Hmm.
And they usually throw random stuff out and say, we can speak, you can CC the director. The director has no time to to be part of an email chain, right? It's probably a salesperson or
Yeah,
something. I
yeah.
want them to be there. That's the thing. The second thing is I always ask them, what kind of due diligence have you done? And can you show me that due diligence
Hmm.
so that I can then do my own due diligence to counteract your due diligence to
Yeah,
figure
of
out,
course. Just to make sure it
the
matches, yeah.
legitimacy and so on. Yes. And the third thing I always say before we do anything, I want a phone call. That's it.
Yeah.
And 99% of the time they say we can't do phone calls, the refinery doesn't. The salespeople do actually, right? If you work with large refineries,
Well, they're on
there's a
commission.
lot of, sorry?
They're on commission.
Yeah, exactly. So they do get on phone calls and they can always verify things as well. And the other thing is, I always ask them also is, can you send me the official website where you get all the information from as well?
Hmm.
And most of the time when they send it to you, they send you a website that is duplicated and you can see it very clearly. Like
Yes.
there is a company called Oil Services, right? Which is a real company in Russia.
Hmm.
They're a very big company. Oil services something, I'm not sure. But they're a very real company in Russia, which is a very big company. But there's a duplicate company in Kazakhstan that is acting like they are an arm or something like that, that they sell fuel. Everything is fake. So when you ask them,
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
send me the website so that I can do my own due diligence as well. They
Hmm.
send you this, it's not real. You can just check it out.
Yeah, that's a good point actually. And I mean, going back to, your love-hate relationship with brokers, I just wanted to say, it comes down to just inexperience. Mostly because, people see, they come onto LinkedIn, they might see a deal for, I know, someone offering 50,000 metric tons of EM590 per month. I'm the direct mandate. Whoa, this is amazing. I can get involved in fuel. I'm connected to this guy. And then they'll give you the spiel, and then you go and try and make your millions from it. But obviously, that's
Yes.
just inexperience. That's not how it works. And I like the fact that you pointed out there as well is due diligence. If you're not doing due diligence and you're supposed to be a mandate or you're a broker dealing with a mandate, why are you not verifying everything you're being told? And that's the most important thing, I think.
Yeah. And I think we can actually take a step back from that as well, right? It's due diligence. Due diligence is one aspect, but I feel all you have to do is just ask them simple questions. You come on LinkedIn, you see someone selling you, like you said, 50,000 metric tons, and they're a direct mandate and so on, right? You just have to ask them simple questions. Have you closed the deal before,
Hmm.
for example? And then they'll say no. Then you ask them, how are
Oh,
you a mandate?
100% of
Yeah.
that's going to be no.
Yes, right. Then you start to question things from there because you're like, if you haven't closed the deal, how are you a mandate already?
Hmm.
Because refineries will only work with people with past performance,
Yeah,
right? So you have to be a
that's a good
broker
point. That's a
first.
very good point.
Right. Yeah. Or if you haven't closed the deal, you probably have to be a company that is, somewhere in oil and gas. Maybe you do maintenance services or
Hmm.
upstream, midstream, those kind of things.
And that's
And you've
another point
already
there. You
made a
have to be a
reputation.
company. Companies don't
Yes, you
work
have
on
to be a
Gmail.
company. Correct. Exactly. Exactly. So simple
Yeah,
questions like that, right? Have you
yeah.
closed the deal?
Yeah, simple due
Uh,
diligence.
yeah, very, very simple, right? And a lot of people, when I post on LinkedIn, a lot of people say like, we don't have the manpower like you have to, do deep dives and this and that and so on. No, like we all started by just asking simple questions. You learn from there and slowly you grow.
Um, I mean, have you got any examples maybe where, during your own career, where you've narrowly avoided a bad deal or uncovered a scam that, maybe nearly caught you out?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago. It's not even like it was 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
It
Okay.
was oil services actually. That's why I mentioned oil
Oh,
services.
right.
It was
Okay.
oil
Fair enough.
services. Yeah. So they were really good at what they do. They were really good. Like this was like top quality scam, right? They had every answer for every question. The documents that they gave you were timely as well. Like they will send you pop documents and then they will say like, okay, um, in 2 days or 3 days time, SGS will be out because we have conducted a dip test. They'll share with you like an injection schedule that they've already had and all these kind of things, right? So it's like really, really good stuff. And the only way to figure out is through ethanol, which I checked the tanks, it was ethanol. That's the first thing. And the second thing was we had to really do like forensic level due diligence to figure out that the numbers, where the decimal places that they had and so on, didn't match. And these things must match
Hmm.
because as much as you can say like outflow is where you do lose some fuel when you're pumping from like a vessel to a tank or something, right? You can't be losing like, 15,000, 20,000 metric tons out of the 200,000 that you're buying. It's too much fuel
No.
gone,
Yeah.
right?
That's a lot of
And
money.
then you look at it's a lot, yeah, it's a lot of money. And you look at two other documents, the outflow is like different. Maybe the density, there's like a decimal place missing, or a single digit number missing, those kind of stuff. So we
Yeah.
had to really, really do deep dive, and we were close. What happened was we were supposed to make payment to them for the whole product on Friday, but we missed the cutoff time with our banks and our attorney because they were verifying documents. They had some situation here and there and so on. It was nothing to do with the documentation. It was more like our attorney was like, a bit slow because things were happening with the company as well. So we missed the deadline or the cutoff time to make the payment. So we said we'll do it on Monday instead. So, okay, on Saturday, Sunday, we dove in more in the documents. Then we realized something is not right. Put a halt on Monday, got people down to the port, found out that the tanks don't hold the fuel, all kinds of
Wow.
stuff. So if we were just a
I
little
hope you
bit
thanked your
less,
lawyer.
yeah, exactly, yeah. It's a good job. You didn't do your job well, but it helped,
Yeah.
right?
Oh
So that
no.
was about 100 and yeah, close to $100 million. We could have just lost just like that, but safe. So very, very
Yeah.
close call. Really,
Well,
really feels bad.
someone was watching out for you.
Yes, yes.
Otherwise, this video would be very different. Um, I mean, what sort of advice would you give to a broker who wants to f trade fuel in 2025 coming into 2026? Um, how can they stay ahead? How can they make sure that they don't get burned or experience something similar like you were there? I mean, for me, just hearing that story there, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? I mean, because I've had similar experiences in Brazil where they have people, they have employers that work in the actual plants and everything and provide real documents. They have shipping companies that provide them real bill of ladings. So, and then they just, they get LCs issued and no one ever gets the product. It just
Hmm.
makes you wonder, doesn't it? If they actually wanted to, they could make such a killing doing it like legally. They have
Yeah,
everything in place like these guys, the oil service, the one in Russia. If they really tried to do it legitimately, they could make an absolute fortune.
no, yeah,
That's
it's
all
true. The thing is, oil services do sell fuel also in Russia.
right.
It's just because of the sanctions they don't, so they're in other stuff, right? But there is a lot of ways that people can scam you and make a lot of money. And if they just do it right, they can make a lot more money, right?
Yeah,
But sometimes it's easy money. For example, there's this thing going on in Kazakhstan whereby they say, hey, we will give you all the documentation and everything, but you must live in Kazakhstan from Aktau. You gotta live in Aktau. But the thing is, Caspian Sea is shallow. So a lot of people fall for this trap, right? Because they're like, oh, okay, you get fresh SGS up front, you get few other documents up front, right? And so you're like, okay, then the procedure says you gotta pay 10% first after you verify the fresh SGS. So people fall for the trap because they're like, oh, okay, cool. So I pay 10%, it's locked in for me, everything is verified with the SGS. Then I bring my vessel in. Then they realize that the Caspian Sea is declining and the seabed is too shallow. The 100,000 metric ton vessel is too big. You have a nightmare with logistics after that, right? So that's the first thing. And you'll pretty much never get your fuel because of all the situational problems. The second thing is when you pay the 10%, see, it could be people with real fuel contacts that are scamming you, right?
yeah,
They do take a liter sample, for example, they get the SGS out, you pay 10%, then they disappear. So they pay 50,000 for SGS, you pay them $5 million for 10%, right? And take it away.
hmm,
So all these kind of things, I feel traders need to look in a bit more. A lot of times people don't realize stuff like this, right? You find
hmm,
out that, oh, there's a vessel near Africa that you can pick up, for example, or even in Malaysia, for example, over here in my place, that you can pick up Vietnam, all this kind of stuff, right? Cambodia. Then you realize like seabed is too shallow. How do you pick it up?
yeah,
So people get caught in those kind of field because they're like, okay, it's not in the major ports. Most likely, no one is trying to scam us because it's in small ports. They have fuel, they're trying to get rid of it. Let's move. And then you
hmm,
realize like there's other things that they're trying to scam you with. You can't
yeah.
bring your vessel in, all this kind of stuff.
Going back to Kazakhstan, though, I have seen a few reports. Have they banned export of fuels? Is it by land, by
Yeah.
sea? I mean, what's the truth there? Because a lot of people are still trying to sell from Kazakhstan. Is it possible to export from Kazakhstan?
It's not possible. There's a lot of weird things that come up now where they say you can get on call with the vice minister of energy to verify, and then you have to pay like 500,000 US dollars, and they will give you an ATSC, and then you can sell. Like, sure, some of it might be true, but how do you export? You can't export. There's only like I think three refineries that are allowed to refine fuel and disperse fuel, but you can't export any fuel out.
Hmm.
So these three refineries are the only ones that can buy fuel in, like buy crude in, refine it, and then sell it to the Kazakh people or around that area. You can't export fuel out.
So there's
So
zero exports from Kazakhstan.
yeah, zero exports.
Yeah, because what was the other rumor I heard? That they're repackaging Russian fuel and they're exporting that or something. Or the Russians are selling it as Kazakh fuel, and that's how
Yes.
they're exporting. But doesn't that mean they still have to send it to Kazakhstan in order to export it?
Yes. So the thing is, the export documents can be forged very easily.
Yeah.
And most of the time, export documents are extremely hard to verify if you're not in the same jurisdiction. So if you have export documents from Kazakhstan, you can't really verify that export document in Rotterdam,
Hmm.
right? For example, in Netherlands. You can look at it, you can be like, yeah, it's real and so on. But you can get all the, you can get like really high quality seals from Russia, from Kazakhstan for like $20. Very, very, very cheap. And some of the seals are better than the original like seal quality. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah,
So
it's outrageous.
most of the time it's Russian fuel that they are repackaging and reselling. So it's not legal technically, but because the documentation is under Kazakh documentation,
Yeah.
you can still buy because they have a trace of documents that they pull and say that, oh, this fuel was in the vessel, or this fuel was in our not shore tanks, it was in the like floating tanks, for example, right? All safe world ports, those kind of stuff.
Hmm.
It's like, oh, it's been stored in there before the ban, and anything that is not stored in shore tanks can come out from the country.
Okay.
Yeah, so they create all this like document backlog traces and so on, and say that it's not been on the shore tanks since the ban. We've already had this in vessels, we've had this in floating tanks and so on, and this is where we store. So we're selling it from there. Create documents for it, and people, you're allowed to buy it still.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
just with caution, I guess.
Yes, it's a very gray area. That's a very, very gray area because it's
Mm.
technically not legal, but documentation wise, it is legal.
Yeah.
So I guess it comes down to your own morality and what you think, whether you want or not.
Yeah, we'll probably give some people on LinkedIn some ideas now.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but I mean, is there anything else that you want to add, maybe that someone might learn from, or something that we may have missed?
Well, yeah. So I'm very open to sharing knowledge with people. But the thing is, when I do it on my blogs, I do it on LinkedIn, and I guess soon I'll be maybe launching a YouTube channel as well to, but like a one person speaking, sharing kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's what my partners want me to do. But I'm very happy if people just come up to me and say that they want to learn the trade, right? And I'm happy to share.
Hmm.
But I also like to do it in a respectful way. I don't want to.
Yeah,
I
of
don't. I'm
course.
not a
Yeah.
fan when people come and
You don't
say,
want 150,000 messages.
exactly,
Yeah,
yeah,
no, of
right.
course.
And I get it a lot. People just come randomly, send me documents and say verify, just like that, right? Like three documents, verify.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know you,
Yeah.
and
You should just
next one
reply
minute,
saying, okay, $500.
yeah, yeah. I'm like, oh, you can send an email to my company and we'll send you a quote for
Yeah, well, there you
verifying.
go. Exactly.
Yeah. So that,
Which,
but that's what our consulting arm does, right? But at the end
Mhm.
of the day, sharing knowledge, I'll do it for free. But I'm not going to verify documents for you. Come and
No, of
ask me
course,
stuff
it's a
about,
service.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But come and ask me questions, right? I also tell people all the time, ask me questions about the trade line and the trade world, what's going on. How can you spot certain things and so on. And I'm happy to share
Mhm.
as long as you're not doing it every day for the next 2 years asking me.
Yeah, no, of course.
Yeah.
Basically, it becomes a mentorship for charity. Um,
Yeah.
just one more thing. Pricing. What sort of
Okay.
prices? I mean, how does the pricing work? Is it updated weekly? Is it updated monthly? What sort of prices are we looking at the moment?
Prices are updated daily, so you
Okay.
have to look at plans. But the way that fuel is being sold can be in multiple forms. If you are buying it from refineries, if you're buying it from refineries within the ex-Russian community area, right? For example, Turkmenistan and all these kind of things,
Yeah.
Azerbaijan and so on. Usually, if it's refineries, the price will be around 400 plus. So 480, 490, 500, around that range. And most people think it's fake. It's not, because when you get it directly from these countries, you get it very cheap.
Hmm.
If it's a refinery, like an actual refinery. General trading market price is around 550 to 580. Um, those that you see where they say like, oh, it's Platts minus 30, Platts minus 20, and all those kind of things. It's super expensive, right?
Hmm.
Those are trader prices. So it's also, I mean, if the fuel is actually there, it's real fuel. But a lot of times people complain and say it's too expensive. But that's only because it went from a refinery to a trader to another trader to you. right?
Hmm.
If it's refinery alone, it can be cheap. So people got to understand this. If you see a price that's within the 400 plus range, make sure you know where it's coming from. If it's ULSD from the US, it's not that cheap because ULSD, even though if it's from the US, it's from a US refinery,
Hmm.
it's still considered a premium product and it's still sold within the 600 ranges around
Okay.
there. Yeah, if it's within the STAN countries and so on, like I said just now, Azerbaijan and
Yeah.
Turkmenistan and so on, then you can get it at 400 plus.
Okay.
But if you see fuel prices around 300 plus, it's Russian fuel stored in vessels under Russian documentation.
Okay.
Some countries can buy, like China, but a lot of other countries cannot. So if you know your pricing ranges, you can kind of know where it comes from and whether it makes sense. So if it's ULSD selling at 500 and they say it's US export, it's not.
Hmm.
It's 100% it's not.
So on the Platts, I mean, is that separate for different countries then? Is it, or is it just one like medium price?
No, so it's different. Fujairah uses different kind of plats. Rotterdam uses different kind of plats.
Okay.
It's easier to get plats for Fujairah, Rotterdam, because Singapore uses MOPS, mean of plat Singapore.
Okay.
That's for Jurong, Singapore, and for Houston, Texas, they use US Gulf, which is also hard to find because it's like a different separate sheet. But if you go to Market Scan, you can always get it for like Middle East, Rotterdam, and all these kind of places.
Okay. So yeah, so some good research points there for people.
Yeah, yeah. So people need to know. You will have to search up three different documents to find out for the multiple places in the world.
And is
So
that possible
Fujairah,
to get prices for like for today, for example?
yeah, yes. Well, I'm in Asia, so usually mine comes out at night,
Okay.
which is usually daytime in the US. Everything follows US timing most of the
Okay.
time. Yeah.
All right. That's
So
good to know.
usually when it's released, it's like either night or if they release a price range today, it is most likely for yesterday's plats. That's how it
Okay, but
works.
it's still pretty up to date. You can get a good baseline.
Yes,
I mean,
yes,
it
yes.
doesn't
It's having one day
fluctuate too
back.
much.
It doesn't. It doesn't. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good. Oh, well, that's look, a lot of really, really good points there for people to learn from. And start gaining some experience. That's been an absolute pleasure. Um, and I think maybe in a few weeks, maybe a month, we can catch up again, see how you're getting on. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely, Sam. I think.
See if you run into any more scams.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to buy from four different places now. We're working on it. So usually that will take about a month. So I think when we get on the next call, I'll have more stories and see what happens.
Listen, I love stories. Anything story related to this business is just it's the best. But um,
Definitely.
but yeah, no, definitely. Let's schedule another call then for a couple of weeks.
Sounds good.
Um,
Sounds good.
Perfect. So have you got much planned for today?
I do have a couple of calls and I have another meeting in 2 hours. Hopefully that goes well. I don't know what's going on there.
All right. Well, fingers crossed for your hand toes. All right, Pradesh. It's been an absolute pleasure. Yeah, let's catch up again. And yeah, good luck with everything.
Yeah, likewise, Sam. Chat soon.
Chat soon. Bye bye.
Bye bye.